And he opens with the lines, turn off the lights, touch me in the dark, fade into the feeling, whisper in my ear. So clearly it's some sort of training seminar to do with workplace compliance for the visually impaired employees, I guess.
Exactly. Yeah.
I mean, well, I don't know what else it could be. Hey, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Audiophiles Lake. My name is John. His name is Andy. Tell Automatic Slim. Tell Razor Toting Jim. Tell Butcher Knife Toting Annie. Tell Fast Talking Fanny. We're going to pitch a ball down to that Union Hall. More on that later. But first, we've got a track to listen to. Andy, please tell us all, what do you got?
Well, we are going to be going off on our sophomore voyage and checking out a band called Minus the Bear. We've done them once before. In the past, we did their track Nights,
Yes.
which was off of their album Planet of Ice. But now I'm going to have fast forward to a track called My Time by them. Um, and this is the official video, but I think I ran a check on this and I think it uploaded without issue on my test upload. So hopefully this doesn't get blocked. If you're seeing it now out there, then I'm guessing it didn't. But yeah, go off and check out My Time by Minus the Bear and let us all know what you think.
So, oh, so much to unpack. So it starts off with this beat, and I was wondering whether it was real or synthesized. And you got your last spinning on her head. And then it starts to speed up and rise in pitch and tempo. Um, so clearly it's electronically pissed around with it. It sound almost like of a bottle being filled with liquid. And as it reaches towards the neck of the bottle, you get speed, and obviously the tone gets higher, gush forward. The guy just walks on and looks at her, and I'm kind of half reminded of one of the removals guys in Are You Being Served? He should have a brown coat, but no, scratch that, because then we see them again in groups, and so that must be one of the band. I wonder if he's a drummer and she's representing the electronic or synthesized version of his skill and art. Yeah, interesting. So then it starts proper, and it's got a real sort of very pleasant sort of sound to it. It's really rooted in the 80s, and then in comes this quirky synth part over the top. Yeah, there's kind of that R&B dance pop thing, um, which you would normally get, very American, sort of dominates the charts in the mid to late 80s. Videos would be primary colors, sometimes a bit of animation as well, with live action. As I'm thinking this, we're getting this video, which is kind of like a rehash of the United Colors of Benetton. um, and for some reason, there's people dancing. Yeah, bit odd, really. Yeah, it's not quite Tom Tom Club. There you go. I mean, the main music, if you take away the synth, it could almost be like a Hall and Oates or something. It's that kind of yeah, sound to it. It's okay.
Turn off the lights and touch me in the dark and fade into the feeling.
Just as he started to sing, there was two big synth chords. Kind of reminded me of Go West. Oh dear. And then he appears and he looks like feral Michael Sheen. Nice. His voice is nice.
Turn off the lights and touch me in the dark and fade into the feeling and whisper in my ear what you want.
So he sang Turn Off the Lights, Touch Me in the Dark. Fade into the feeling, whisper in my ear. What could it be about? Is it some sort of seminar regarding acclimatizing visually impaired people in the workplace? Who knows? Yeah, this is what we would say in the trade. This is a coochie-coo. So I can't take this seriously, to be fair. It's quite funny with what's all going on. Bizarre.
What you need, tell me my name, tell me my name again, 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 again.
Stabbing
Yell
butts.
my name, baby. I got your nights, I got your nights, I got your days, I got your days, I got you on, I got you on. My time, I got your nights, I got your nights, I got your days, I got your days, I got you on, I got you on. You taste like sweet wine, and we are magnified. The sweat rolls down your thigh.
Yeah, sorry, it's quite a shortish song though. So a couple of things strike me there. It's that chorus. It's kind of like a call and response, but normally you have the strong voice calling and then sort of backing or weaker, whatever you want to call it, voice responding. But it was the other way around here. It was the slightly weaker voice doing the first bit, I've got your nights, and then he's singing. And the contrast the two is clearly a stronger voice or more up in the mix or whatever. So that's an interesting take on why they do that. And they repeat it, each line, and then they go around again. I got your nights, I got your days, I got you on my time. Sounds like he's working for Elon. And then we go again a bit more synth nonsense as we come out, and then go into this next verse. And his voice is even more sort of encroaching on the falsetto, but not quite. And his voice sounds a bit like some of the sort of voices you would get in acid jazz in the early 90s as well. Really pleasant. I like it. So yeah.
Making moves so right. It's what you want. It's what you need. Not just the same, baby. I got your nights. I got your nights. I got your days. I got your days. I got you on. I got you on. My time. I got your nights. I got your nights. I got your days. I got your days. I got you on. I got you on. My time.
Oh Jesus. This is better. It just struck me then. It took me a few seconds to. There's that frame there a wee second back, which was almost framed like sort of here we go, like a Mondrian painting. And of course, that's very 80s because it reminds me of those adverts for Studio Line. People who are old enough know exactly what I'm talking about. As like Hair Jam and stuff, that was hilarious, and it was done like this as well. This band clearly have a sense of humour because they are taking the piss out of themselves, which is great. Um, I can't say that this music is particularly my bag. That synth line, it's almost like a little. It's like Jar Jar Binks, you know. So it's a character within the song which is annoying and almost put in there for the kids. Um, yeah. Oh my god, unbelievable.
And you're holding on to me like you know love, that you know every inch of. When I feel you start to go, take it slow until your body's saying more. I've got your nights, I got your nights, I've got your days, I got your days, I've got you on, I got you on. My time, I've got your nights, I got your nights, I've got your days, I got your days, I've got you on, I got you on. My time. You gotta be on my time, my time. I got your nights, I got your days, I got your days, I got you on, I got you on. My time.
Yeah. There was even a bit in there. There's a synth line going that sounded a bit sort of Daft Punk just for like 3 or 4 seconds there. Yeah. It was all right in terms of my enjoyment of the music. I would say I've heard stuff like this a lot in the 80s, and I veered away from it as quickly as I could, to be honest with you. Wasn't as bad as the original stuff in the 80s because it's they can do more stuff now, so it had a bit to it, but yeah, not my particular cup of tea. I enjoyed the video though. I thought there was a lot there to enjoy. It's funny. I think if you watch it again, I'll probably pick up even more stuff. Um, so yeah, they clearly have a sense of humor. I don't remember their previous song being as sort of synth-based, sort of dancey pop as this. And it's an interesting take for Andy. It may be one of these exceptions that proves the rule, like we've sort of talked about before, where he likes a band and they've gone in this direction and he's gone with them, you know, um, which is fair enough. But in isolation, this pick would be a surprise to me normally. Um, so it gave me a zoo and he hated it. But there you go. So let's find out some more. Let's go back and chop it up with Andy.
All right, so you are back on my time. What did you make of this track by Minus the Bear?
Interesting. Yeah. From what I can vaguely remember of Nights, this, as they say, this was not Mel Torme. So yeah, it starts with this electronic beat. I was wondering if it was real or electronic, but it kind of makes no difference because it's then manipulated to rise in pitch and tempo, and very much like a bottle being filled with a liquid, and it accelerates up for spilling out of the neck. Meanwhile, we have a young lady spinning on her head. And then in comes, which I believe later on from watching the video, is a member of the band. At the time, this won't mean anything to you, but he had this. He's not a natural in front of the camera. Let's put it this way. So
I don't think any of them are really among all
no,
guys.
but he shuffles on, and I'm reminded there was a dreadful. I say dreadful. In other aspects, it was dreadful, but it's of its time. There was a TV show in the 70s called Are You Being Served? And at some point, it is a department store, and at some points there would be these couple of guys in sort of brown coats would almost like stagehands would come on with a new model or something, which would be semi-automatic, and it would do something stupid like flash its breasts, or a thing would lift up that looked like an erect cock or something, and it would all be innuendo and stuff like that. And
Sure.
these guys, and he kind of reminded me of one of those, just shuffling on. But thinking about it, I think this is a little mini drama where I think he's the drummer. And I think the woman spinning on her head represents this sort of like the electronic or development of his art, as it were. So she's representing the electronic version, drum machines or whatever, and he's the guy, and that's why he looks at her a bit sort of, phased and then shuffles off again. That could all be in my head, but there we go. That's what I saw. So then the song starts properly. And the video itself has the feel of the United Colors of Benetton advert. The visuals are saying late 80s, early 90s, but the music has a real 80s feel to it. So the overall sound as it starts is a very pleasant sound, and it's quite it's smooth, but it could almost be, and I don't mean this in a derogatory term, but it could almost be a Hall and Oates sample. It's that sort of, simple. And then over the top is this quirky synth line straight from the land of R&B, dance stroke pop. With those sort of songs from the 80s where they had quite often primary colored videos, sometimes with animation and live action mingled together. It's not quite Tom Tom Club territory, but it's close enough that they go around and collect their diverted parcels if they needed to. So yeah, this is all tying together, and it's quite unusual and not what I expected. And then we get a couple of and I'm picking up little bits here and there, which won't mean anything to you, but there's a couple of big synth chord hits as we go, which really triggered Go West. We Close Our Eyes was one of those songs. I've talked about this before, where I worked for a while stacking shelves in a supermarket at night, and the radio would stop around about 1:30 and there'd be a loop tape playing for the next 3 hours of the same songs every fucking night for like 2 years. And you got to really hate some of the songs and really, because of the contrast, really love some of the others. So what's that? Well, I forgot the name of the band. More Than Words. Man, I fucking hate that song. Anything by Deacon Blue, I fucking hate. We Close Our Eyes by Go West. Dun, 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 dun. I fucking hate that. Me and Mrs. Jones, we got a thing going on. I absolutely adore, because it was just so much better than all the other shit on there.
Yeah.
And Frida Payne is it, Band of Gold. I absolutely love that song as well. It was like my sort of 3 o'clock oasis of good music in between the shit. So yeah, a couple of big chords come in and remind me of Go West, and then it all settles down with the introduction of the singer, who immediately is doing his best impression of a feral Michael Sheen. He's a Welsh actor, which you may or may not know. But he's sort of grown his hair and his beard and looks like he's been living rough for a few months. And he looks very similar to that, not in a rough way, but yeah. And he opens with the lines, turn off the lights, touch me in the dark, fade into the feeling, whisper in my ear. So clearly it's some sort of training seminar to do with workplace compliance for the visually impaired employees, I
Exactly.
guess.
Yeah.
I mean, well, I don't know what else it could be. I think I said in the video, some people may refer to this as coochie-cooness. That's probably the funniest thing I could describe it as. So as he goes through the lines, there's this strong, like, 2-note synth part that sort of goes through and sort of completes each line. And then as he goes through the verse, that sort of picks up into a stabbing rhythm as he asks someone to tell him his name, bless him. It's terrible when that happens. We've all been there. There are some bass notes chumming along underneath and percussion as well. But it always, in my ears, it's merging into this very rhythmic, synth-led track. The chorus introduces us to another voice, and it's really curiously ordered. The choice they made there is an unusual one, because normally you get like a call and response. It's the main voice that leads, with we should call it the lesser build voice, or voices coming in response. And here it's clearly reversed, with the obviously weaker voice. And I'm not saying his voice is terrible, but it's just not quite the same as the lead singer. So
Mhm.
he sings a line, and then the lead singer sings the line. So you get this sort of slightly weaker and then stronger reply, which again is just really unusual and interesting. So they both sound out the lines, I got your nights, I got your days, I got you on my time, and then repeat it the way through. So it does sound like they're working for Elon. So in the second verse, the singer's voice slips now and then, almost is getting towards falsetto, very gentle one. And it reminds me um, sometimes of some of the voices you get in acid jazz in the early 90s when it's a white person sing, a white male singing
Yeah.
rather than a black male. You would get this sort of much more gentle and perhaps not quite as soulful as the other sort of or rap type voices you get in acid jazz. But I really like his sound of his voice actually. I did really enjoy that. There's some noodling going on down in the mix, which could be a guitar or facsimile of, but it's quite hard to cut through it for my ears. We then go back to the chorus for another turn, and we exit on this sort of slipping, scratching um, stuff, which then it acts as an introduction to the notorious omnichord. I couldn't believe it. And they held it aloft as well. For some people, it's like the 80s version of the stylophone. I mean,
The first time I saw this video, I caught it fleeting for a moment, so I didn't get a good look at it, and I was like, "Did he just hold up like a die-cast model of the Millennium Falcon?" And then I went back, and I was like, "Oh yes, that's an Omnicord."
it almost looks like the ending of a foot spar or something that he's holding up.
It's an odd-shaped instrument. That's for
It's
sure.
really, and it's, anyway, less said, sooner did. So it does a thankfully brief cameo. Um, and then we get some more shuffling beats, and we have some. I'd be flattering to say Casio-esque sort of chimes. They're not even as good as a Casio. Very odd chimes going on we get more sort of cheesy faces on the video.
Mhm.
Um, we then go through another sort of ebullient passage with lots of stuff going on. There's a brief screenshot. I think it only lasts a second or two. I have to rewind it, where it's set up like a Mondrian design. So you have these parallel lines, and then within the sections of the quadrangles, some are colored different colors, and that's Mondrian paintings. Um, and this reminds me of another sort of iconic 80s image, the horrible TV adverts for studio line hair products, mainly like hair gels and stuff.
Yep.
And again, these primary colored studios would be replete with suited models arsing about with toy saxophones about that big while fingering their spiked quiffs, and were immediately hated by 98% of the population who watched it. So yeah, and then there's another section where there's a very brief bit for about 3 seconds where the synth sounds, or about 5 seconds, sounds very, and this is just after the 3 minute mark, so 3:10 or something. Sounds just like a Daft Punk sort of violin coming through. But again, it's quite low in the mix, so you
Mhm.
just like hear it. And I would pick up the odd things in this song, really. But for the most part, I have to be honest. If that main synth line was a character, for me, it would be Jar Jar Binks. I'm not enjoying it. Anyway,
Loved it.
and it leads through to the final chorus, which goes around a couple of times, and they vary the emphasis on that. And then there's a few shuffles of the beat, and a few shuffles of facial hair, and brings it to a close. What is really the saving grace to me is a sense of humor from the band that comes through. And I'm
Yeah.
struggling to remember from before. I remember it was like quite a guitar indie sound with some synth, but it wasn't anything like this at all.
No.
And I think this is perhaps a breakthrough in their sound or an
Yes.
experiment in their sound,
Bingo.
but they're not taking it too seriously. So it made the video hugely enjoyable because you clearly it's one bit there was a woman dancing and the guy who had the black hat and was trying to do the robot and it was
Yeah.
just awful, really funny. Because as I say, they were suitably awkward in the camera, and even I mean the lead singer did a great job, but the other guy in the chorus didn't look particularly comfortable or natural.
Yeah.
Bless him. So yeah, I was surprised at this. I mean, overall, the sound of it is very sort of 80s mainstream American. And I don't mean as an insult, but it is a little bit of that sort of Hall and Oates sound to it that's been smoothed out.
Mhm.
Um, um, so not horrible, but not really of my cup of tea either in terms of the sound. But I
Yeah.
really thoroughly enjoyed watching it. It wasn't a painful experience by any measure. But yeah, I mean, so much going on that it was incredible,
Yeah,
really.
it's a lot. It's a lot to take in. It's a lot to take in, that's for sure. And how about that, or a discussion where we wedged in two Star Wars allusions there with the Millennium Falcon and the beloved, everyone's favorite Jar Jar Binks. Yeah,
Feel like I should spit every time his name's mentioned as like it's the Star Wars version of Pitchfork.
yeah, exactly, exactly. You're spot on. Yeah, I chose this one for a reason. There's other great songs by this band out there, which we will eventually get to, and other great albums. I think the interesting thing about this album is that it was experimental by the band, but the band wanted to have fun experimenting, right? And that is going to involve a diversion from what they had done, which means a diversion in expectation from their diehards. So while they had fun creating this and toying with different subgenres of music to show that they could do other things than like math slash prog inspired indie rock, um, the fans were like, "What are you fucking this? Are you serious? This is not what we expected. We wanted the same. We wanted Minos Lips Ojos, or we wanted Planet of Ice, and you're giving us this." And they just wanted to be like, "Hey, man, we had fun doing this. We were nerds about it, but it wasn't going to be the same. You know we can already do what we've done, so why do it again?" I think was kind of their approach. And of course, every time a band makes that decision, there is going to be some schism between those who bow at the altar of that band and the band itself who made the decision to go elsewhere. So, quick recap of the band. Minus the Bear is an American indie rock band formed in Seattle, Washington in 2001 and comprising members of the bands Botch and Kill Sadie and Sharks Keep Moving. So they're kind of these bands that didn't make it. Their members went on to create Minus the Bear and they had success. Their sound has been described as Pele-esque guitar taps and electronics with sophisticated time signature composition. Their members at this time included Jake Snyder, lead vocals on guitar, Dave Knudsen, guitar, omnichord, Aaron Tate, drums, Corey Murchie, bass, and Alex Rose on keyboards and vocals. So, the omnichord obviously played a huge role on this album, so much so that they named the album Omni.
Oh
And
Jesus!
then why? Yeah,
A
exactly.
whole album.
Yeah, 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 yeah. So the band have
They're
released.
brave. They're so brave.
It's ballsy at the very least. I don't know if it's going to be successful, but
And their follow-up album, Kazoo.
yeah, yeah, exactly, exactly.
Wow.
Wait till you hear Triangle. That thing was a fucking
Yeah.
masterpiece. Pardon me. They've released a total of 6 albums and 4 EPs. On July 17th of 2018, the band announced their retirement and an accompanying farewell tour. Their final live performance on their original farewell tour was December 16th of 2018 at the Shadow Box in their home city of Seattle. In 2025, this past year, the band reunited and announced an anniversary tour to commemorate the 20th anniversary of their album Menos el Oso, just Spanish from Minus the Bear. This track, My Time, features on the band's 4th studio album, the aforementioned Omni, released on May 4th, 2010. It was their first album to be released on Danger Bird Records and was produced by Grammy Award winner Joe Ciccarelli. On April 27, 2009, the band began recording without the support of a record label. On September 3rd, 2009, they announced on their Twitter that they were officially done recording. On October 27th of that same year, they self-released an EP, Into the Mirror, featuring a brand new track from the forthcoming album titled Into the Mirror, and a B-side from the recording session titled Broken China. This was released on a 7-inch vinyl that was sold exclusively at shows and through various digital outlets on the internet. In February of 2010, the band announced that they had signed to Danger Bird Records. Soon after, the title, track list, and release date of their new album was unveiled. On April 19th of 2010, the album became available for free streaming on KCRW's official site. Omni is different from previous Minus the Bear studio albums in that it was recorded in a style of a live show, with the band playing straight through each track rather than recording components of each track and piecing it together. Reviewing the album for Racket Mag, Jeff Curtis would offer up, "I've used one word to describe this album to anyone who asked: sexy. This is an album full of certified baby-making jams and smooth indie rock. Hypnotic guitars, smooth swooning bass lines, quasi-seductive vocals, and melodic keyboards make this a treat to listen to." Over at Beats Per Minute, writer Ryan Jordahl opined, "This album has some excellent traits. Setting it apart from the band's preceding work, it's not hard to tell that they got what they wanted. There's a lot of confidence in these songs. If they were trying to create bigger, louder songs, it was accomplished." And Annie Pierce of Monkey Goose Magazine wrote of the album, "Right off the bat, one thing that makes Omni different from their previous releases is the fact that it was recorded in the style of a live show. While traditional recording entails that each part is recorded individually, Minus the Bear opted to record the whole tracks one at a time. The recording style is indicative of what the band was trying to do with this album. Omni was the band's attempt at further experimentation. Everything from the recording to the album's theme to the music itself was a departure from what the band had done in their prior albums." Adding, "The track My Time is driven by a Japanese omnichord synthesizer, giving the track its distinct sound that hints at the city pop genre that was popularized in Japan back in the late 1970s. And at its core, this is where the track's strength lies. As the band flexes their strong pop sensibilities, a pleasant surprise from a band that isn't really known for making pop-friendly tunes." So, interestingly enough, and ironically enough, I didn't think about this as I was penning these notes, but at that point, I hadn't listened to or made the observation about Nick Cave in our recent discussion. But how I jested about Nick Cave being able to write a pop love song is probably his Everest. I think in a weird way, clearly unbeknownst to them, they kind of are trying to do the same thing. Like, oh, we can write some indie pop stuff that, that's getting lapped up right now. If you want to hear it from a musical nerd's perspective on how to do it. But before that, they were doing all of this like intricate math rock. Like I said, it's indie, but there's shades of prog in there as far as the musicianship is concerned. So yeah, I think this was sort of their attempt to show that they could write not top 40 stuff, but more mainstream music, stuff that could actually get radio airplay on a regular, station. So, lyrics. "Turn off the lights and touch me in the dark." Don't get any ideas here, John. Fade into the feeling and whisper in my ear what you want, what you need. Tell me my name, tell me my name. Again, again, again. Just yell out my name, baby. I got your nights, I got your days. I got your days, I got you on. I got you on my time. I got your nights, I got your days. I got your days, I got you on. I got you on. You taste like sweet wine, and we are magnified. The sweat rolls down your thigh. We're making moves so blind. It's what you want, it's what you need. And I'm just the same, baby. I got your nights, I got your days, I got your days, I got you on, I've got you on my time. I got your nights, I got your days, I got your days, I got you on my time. And you're holding on to me like an old love that you know every inch of. And when I feel you start to go, take it slow till your body's saying more, baby. I got your nights, I got your days, I got your days, I got you on my time. I got your nights, I got your days, I got your days, I got you on my time. You're gonna be on my time, my time. I got your nights, I got your days, I got your days, I got you on my time. So yeah, there you have it. And you're right. This this is not in any way, shape, or form a song about nocturnal coitus, if you will. No, it is very much just a song about sex. Go ahead.
But yeah, it could have been. It could have easily been their sort of sex on fire moment, like Kings of Leon, where he got a makeover and hair gel back and and all that sort of stuff and went for the stadium rock. But they went more down the route of, I don't know, Right Said Fred or something. It was more comical. They didn't take themselves seriously, which is a
Exactly. I
good
think
sign.
that almost in a weird way is what makes it more palatable to me, or makes me feel like I'm also in on the joke. Because Kings of Leon felt like they were taking themselves deathly serious when they were writing that kind of shit compared to what preceded it, right? Whereas this
Yeah,
just is like, hey man, we're having an album of fun for us, and if you get it, come on board, and if you don't, turn your nose up until the next album drops. You know what I mean?
yeah.
And that's
You better.
I appreciate that honestly in a weird way.
It's a very brave move, and and you better make sure that the next album is pretty soon on its heels as well. You
Yes.
don't want to leave it 3 years for the next album because you will
Yeah,
be dead and buried.
exactly.
But yeah, it's really brave stuff. I mean, I think I did find being completely honest, the synth line really annoying. Um, I'm not as adverse to it as you tend to be in terms of synth pop. And I think I joked to the reaction, that this may be the we all have the the sort of the exception that proves the rule sort of thing. And I
Yeah.
say, well, like when I gave you Yazoo and you've thoroughly enjoyed that. And I don't particularly consider myself a fan of synth pop, but then I find that there are several songs of theirs which are particularly that come into that genre, particularly for my youth, where I'd hear them on the school bus or whatever, and that's what they sink in, like early Depeche Mode and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You know, and yeah, I was thinking it was just really interesting that this would come from you.
Oh, hey,
Um,
I just gave you Gorilla Toss, a week or two ago. So it's the same. So it's a similar situation where, yeah, blanketly, not my cup of tea, but every once in a while something can slip through the cracks that, for whatever
oh yeah,
reason, scratches
exactly.
an itch.
It does, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So there you
And
have.
and I'd say if you took away that the very strong big synth line in it, and I said about one bit reminded me of Daft Punk, and there's a lot of Daft Punk I really like,
Yeah.
which on the face of it you wouldn't normally, if you're not into that synth pop. But there's certain bands that override genres, don't they? And they make it
Yes.
through.
Yeah. And I would say that Daft Punk is definitely one of them. You know what I mean? You don't have to like
Yeah,
everything, but I
like
think
Chemical
most
Brothers
people
as
be
well.
hard. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly. You're
yeah.
right. You're right. Excellent, man. Well, I appreciate you giving this a go. I promise the next time I give you something by these guys, it won't be their fun experimentation phase. It'll be back
Fair
to
enough.
basics. Because I know you really did like the
Nights,
the
yeah,
musicality of Nights. Like there was something there
yeah.
for sure to be enjoyed. That is
And
more.
now you've gone and ruined it.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly. It's the opposite of what I did with Me Without You, where I started with the Fox, the Crow, and the Cookie, and then I swooped in
yeah.
and gave you January 1979, and you're like, why didn't you give me this first? Like, what the fuck? Oh, that's great. Well, yeah, appreciate you being a sport and actually extrapolating from this the fun and silliness that it was meant for. They're not taking themselves seriously when they did this, and that can sometimes mean a whole hell of a lot on how you interpret it or respond to it. So, thanks for giving it a go, John. Guys out there in the listening audience, please let us know what you thought of this track, My Time by Minus the Bear. I'd be interested to hear what you guys have to say. If you have any suggestions by them for us to check out, yeah, you laugh.
Just
Thinking about
picturing the comments already.
Yes, yeah, me too. Me too. I can't wait. Oh, it's gonna be awesome. I'll be sitting having my breakfast the day this drops. Like, ooh, I can't wait to log on. Yeah, if there's another track by these guys that you would like, in all likelihood, John to check out on a future Friday episode, feel free to give it a shout down in the comments field below, or any other band or track for that matter. If as long as one of us hasn't listened to it before, we will add it to a future Friday's episode list and knock that out for you guys. Also, please like, share, and or subscribe if you haven't done any or all of those things. It doesn't cost you anything but a couple clicks, and we truly appreciate the gesture, so thanks in advance. And hopefully John and I will catch all y'all in growing numbers on the next installment of the Audiophiles. We'll see you later, guys.